There is a quiet kind of magic that doesn't announce itself with fireworks or headlines. It doesn't demand that you quit your job, burn the boats, or risk everything you have. It simply asks for a few disciplined hours, a clear intention, and the courage to believe that small efforts, done consistently, can change the direction of an entire life. That magic is part-time ambition. Most people wait for a perfect moment before they take ambition seriously. They wait for more time, more money, more confidence, or fewer responsibilities. And while they wait, years pass quietly. Part-time ambition begins when you realize that perfection is not a requirement for progress. It begins the moment you decide that the life you want deserves some of your attention right now, not someday. You don't need a dramatic turning point. You need a decision to stop wasting the margins of your day. There are hours in every life that slip through unnoticed. Evenings dissolve into distraction. Weekends disappear into recovery rather than growth. These hours don't feel valuable because they are unclaimed. But once you assign them a purpose, they become powerful. Part-time ambition is simply the decision to claim those hours and give them direction. It is saying, I may not be able to change everything today, but I can change what I do with this hour. This approach works because it respects reality instead of fighting it. You have responsibilities. You have obligations. You have limits. Instead of resenting them, part-time ambition works around them. It asks a practical question: what can I build without quitting my job, neglecting my family, or gambling my stability? The answer is usually far more than you expect. Skills can be learned in small sessions. Knowledge can be built one page at a time. Opportunities can be created quietly before they are ever announced. The greatest danger is not lack of time. It is lack of intention. Many people are busy but unfocused. They are tired but unfulfilled. They work hard at what pays the bills and give no energy to what could change their future. Part-time ambition corrects this imbalance. It restores dignity to personal growth. It treats self-improvement not as a luxury, but as a responsibility. When you begin working on yourself part-time, something subtle but important happens. You start to see yourself differently. You are no longer just someone enduring the week and surviving the month. You become someone in motion, someone investing, someone building. This shift in identity is often more valuable than the results themselves. Because once you see yourself as a builder, you look for materials everywhere. You learn from conversations. You extract lessons from failure. You turn ordinary days into training grounds. Another powerful truth about part-time ambition is that it removes pressure. When everything depends on one bold leap, fear takes over. Fear of judgment. Fear of being wrong. But when your ambition operates part-time, you are free to experiment. You can learn without panic. You can improve without embarrassment. Mistakes become lessons instead of disasters. Progress becomes sustainable instead of exhausting. This method also teaches discipline in its purest form. Not the dramatic discipline of extreme effort, but the quiet discipline of showing up again tomorrow. It is easy to be motivated once. It is difficult to be consistent. Part-time ambition trains consistency because it fits into real life. It doesn't demand heroic effort. It demands honest effort. And honest effort, repeated, builds character faster than occasional intensity. Many underestimate the compounding effect of this discipline. They judge a single hour as insignificant. But time doesn't reward intensity alone, it rewards continuity. 1 hour today connects to 1 hour tomorrow, and soon you have momentum. Momentum changes behavior. Behavior changes habits. Habits change results. And results change belief. Suddenly, what once felt unrealistic begins to feel inevitable. There is also humility in part-time ambition. It accepts that growth is a process. It doesn't demand applause. It doesn't rush outcomes. It understands that becoming valuable is more important than becoming visible. While others announce their plans, the part-time ambitious person works quietly. While others look for shortcuts, they build foundations. And foundations, once set, support weight for a lifetime. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: the future is rarely created by one decision. It is created by a series of small decisions made consistently in the same direction. Part-time ambition is the practice of making those decisions daily, choosing growth over comfort, learning over distraction, preparation over excuses. You don't need more hours in the day to change your life. You need to respect the hours you already have. When you give part of your time to your future eventually gives back to your present. That is the quiet power at the heart of part-time ambition, and for those willing to practice it, it changes everything. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that ambition must begin with a dramatic sacrifice. They think progress requires exhaustion, imbalance, and risk beyond reason. But part-time ambition proves a different truth. You can grow without breaking your life apart. You can build the future while honoring the present. This kind of ambition understands seasons. It knows that stability is not the enemy of growth, neglect is. Most people already work full time for someone else's dream, someone else's goals, someone else's priorities. There is nothing wrong with that. Work is honorable. Responsibility is noble. The problem begins when all your best energy is spent on survival and none is invested in advancement. Part-time ambition restores balance by carving out space for what matters most, your own development. The power of this approach lies in its realism. It doesn't ask for superhuman effort, it asks for consistency. A focused hour at the end of the day, when used well, is more powerful than a full weekend wasted in confusion. When you treat that hour as an appointment with your future, you stop canceling on yourself. And the moment you stop canceling on yourself, your self-respect begins to rise. Part-time ambition teaches you to protect your energy. You learn quickly that growth cannot happen in a state of constant distraction. That means fewer empty conversations, fewer meaningless habits, fewer activities that leave you tired but unchanged. This is not about deprivation, it is about selection. You choose activities that move you forward, instead of those that simply help you pass time. As this discipline takes root, you begin to notice something interesting. Your time becomes more valuable because your purpose becomes clearer. You no longer ask, how can I relax more? You ask, how can I live better? Rest becomes intentional instead of escapism. Work becomes meaningful instead of mechanical. Even leisure feels earned, not empty. Another lesson part-time ambition teaches is patience with progress. Growth that lasts is rarely fast. Skills take time to develop. Confidence takes time to solidify. Wisdom takes time to mature. When you work part-time on your goals, you accept this timeline without frustration. You understand that small improvements, compounded over months and years, outperform dramatic efforts that burn out quickly. This patience creates emotional stability. You are no longer desperate for immediate results. You are no longer discouraged by slow beginnings. You know that you are on a path, and being on the path matters more than how far you've traveled so far. That calm confidence is rare, and it separates builders from dreamers. Part-time ambition also sharpens awareness. When you commit to growth, you start noticing opportunities others miss. You hear ideas differently. You read with purpose. You listen for lessons instead of entertainment. The world becomes a classroom instead of a distraction. And the more you learn, the more capable you become of turning ordinary situations into advantages. There is also a moral strength in this approach. You are not chasing success at the expense of your values. You are not neglecting family, health, or integrity to get ahead. You are proving that improvement does not require compromise. This balance builds trust with others and peace within yourself. You don't feel torn between who you are and who you want to become. You feel aligned. Over time, part-time ambition begins to change your standards. You tolerate less nonsense. You waste less potential. You become more selective about what deserves your attention. This is not arrogance, it is maturity. You start to understand that every hour spent carelessly is an hour stolen from something meaningful. Eventually, something remarkable happens. The skills you practice quietly start producing visible results. The knowledge you accumulated begins to create options. The confidence you built privately shows up publicly. And people wonder when you became so capable, so calm, so prepared. They don't see the part-time hours. They only see the payoff. That is the beauty of this kind of ambition. It allows you to grow without announcing it. It allows you to prepare without pressure. It allows you to succeed without losing yourself. And when success arrives, it feels earned, stable, and deserved. Because it was built patiently, part-time. one disciplined hour at a time. Part-time ambition succeeds because it changes how you relate to effort. Instead of waiting for motivation, you build a structure that works even when motivation is low. Most people rely on feeling inspired before they act, and that's why their progress is unpredictable. Part-time ambition replaces emotional decision making with commitment. You decide in advance how much time you will give to your growth, and then you keep that promise whether you feel like it or not. This is where real transformation begins. When you honor small commitments to yourself, you develop self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence does not come from positive thinking, it comes from evidence. Each time you show up for your part-time ambition, you collect proof that you can be relied upon. Over time, this proof reshapes how you see yourself. Another powerful aspect of part-time ambition is that it trains focus. In limited time, distractions become expensive. You learn quickly that you cannot afford scattered attention. This pushes you to identify what truly matters. You stop dabbling and start choosing. You stop starting and begin finishing. Focus turns effort into results, and results reinforce focus. This clarity also protects you from comparison. When you are working quietly on your own development, you are less concerned with how fast others are moving. You understand that everyone has different resources, responsibilities, and timelines. Part-time ambition frees you from the pressure to keep up with someone else's pace. You are no longer racing, you are building. This approach also builds emotional resilience. Because your ambition is not tied to immediate rewards, you become less reactive to setbacks. A bad day does not derail you. A slow week does not discourage you. You expect obstacles, and because you expect them, they lose their power. You learn that consistency is not perfection. It is persistence with imperfections included. One of the most underestimated benefits of part-time ambition is how it strengthens decision-making. When you regularly invest time in learning and reflection, you think better. You make fewer impulsive choices. You evaluate opportunities with patience instead of urgency. This leads to fewer regrets and more long-term wins. Good decisions made repeatedly are more valuable than occasional breakthroughs. As your skills grow, so does your sense of personal responsibility. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for permission. You understand that while you may not control the starting point, you do control the direction. This mindset is liberating. It replaces frustration with ownership and replaces excuses with strategy. Part-time ambition also reveals an important truth about success. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack follow-through. Ideas are common. Intentions are common. What is rare is disciplined execution. By committing to steady, part-time progress, you separate yourself from the majority without needing extraordinary talent. This steady execution begins to shape your habits. And habits, once formed, work for you automatically. What once required effort becomes routine. What once felt difficult becomes normal. At that point, growth no longer depends on willpower. It is embedded in your lifestyle. That is when progress accelerates. Another critical lesson is learning to value preparation over appearance. Part-time ambition happens when no one is watching. There is no audience, no instant validation. This teaches humility and strength at the same time. You are no longer performing for approval. You are preparing for opportunity. An opportunity favors those who are ready, not those who are loud. Over time, your internal dialogue changes. Instead of asking, "Can I really do this?" you start asking, "What's the next step?" Doubt gives way to practicality. Fear gives way to planning. This shift alone can change the trajectory of a life. Because progress is not blocked by fear, it is blocked by confusion and inaction. Perhaps the most powerful outcome of part-time ambition is identity transformation. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes for a better future and start seeing yourself as someone who is actively creating it. This identity shift affects everything: how you speak, how you act, how you choose. And once your identity changes, your results eventually follow. Part-time ambition may look small from the outside, but inside it is building something unshakable: character, capability, confidence. And when the moment comes to step into a larger role, you won't need to rush. You'll already be ready because you prepared quietly, consistently, and patiently one part-time commitment at a time. Part-time ambition ultimately teaches you how to live with intention instead of impulse. Most lives are shaped by reaction, reacting to deadlines, reacting to problems, reacting to expectations. Days are spent putting out fires, and years are spent wondering where the time went. Part-time ambition interrupts this pattern by introducing a deliberate choice into every week, a choice to move forward, even if only a little, no matter what else is happening. This choice creates direction. Direction gives meaning to effort. When you know where you are going, even slow progress feels worthwhile. Without direction, even hard work feels empty. Part-time ambition is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters. It asks you to decide which skill, discipline, or vision deserves your attention, and then to give it steady respect. One of the most powerful shifts this creates is how you experience time. Time stops feeling like something that slips away and starts feeling like something you use. Instead of saying, "I'm too busy," you begin to say, "That's not a priority." This is not harsh, it is honest. And honesty is freeing. When you are clear about your priorities, guilt disappears. You no longer feel bad for resting or working because both serve a purpose. Part-time ambition also strengthens your patience with people and situations. Because you are no longer in a rush to prove yourself, you become calmer. You listen better. You respond instead of react. When your future is being built steadily, you don't feel threatened by delays or disagreements. You know that today's inconvenience cannot cancel tomorrow's progress. As the months pass, your confidence becomes quieter but deeper. You don't need constant reassurance because you have evidence of growth. You've seen yourself keep promises. You've watched your skills improve. You've felt your thinking become sharper. This kind of confidence doesn't demand attention. It commands respect naturally. Another important outcome is discernment. Part-time ambition forces you to decide what deserves long-term commitment and what is merely a distraction. Not every opportunity is an opportunity for you. Not every open door leads somewhere worth going. When your time is invested intentionally, you become selective. You learn to say no without guilt and yes without hesitation. This discernment protects you from burnout. Many people exhaust themselves chasing too many things at once. Part-time ambition keeps you focused and balanced. It allows you to grow without resentment. You are not constantly sacrificing your life for your goals. You are integrating your goals into your life. This balance makes success sustainable. Eventually, you begin to notice how much internal pressure has disappeared. You are no longer haunted by the feeling that you should be doing more, but don't know where to start. You have started. You are already in motion. That sense of motion creates peace. Even on difficult days, you know that you are not standing still. There is also a quiet pride that comes from this way of living. Not pride that needs recognition, but pride rooted in self-respect. You know that you are honoring your potential. You know that you are not wasting your abilities. This self-respect affects how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you make decisions. It becomes part of your presence. Part-time ambition also prepares you for moments of opportunity. Life has a way of opening doors unexpectedly. When that happens, many people panic because they are unprepared. But when you've been working consistently behind the scenes, opportunity feels familiar, not frightening. You step forward with calm instead of chaos because you've been training for the moment without realizing it. In the end, the greatest gift of part-time ambition is not what it gives you, but who it makes you. It turns hope into habit. It turns intention into identity. It turns spare time into strategic time. And it turns an ordinary life into a life that is quietly, steadily, and intentionally improving. You don't need permission to live this way. You don't need a dramatic announcement or a radical change. You simply need to decide that some part of your time belongs to your future. Guard that time. Use it wisely. Because when you consistently give part of your life to growth, growth eventually gives back more than you ever invested. Part-time ambition reaches its highest value when it reshapes how you measure success. Many people judge success only by visible outcomes, titles, income, recognition, or status. But those are results, not foundations. Part-time ambition shifts your focus to becoming instead of merely achieving. It teaches you that the most important progress is often internal, long before it ever becomes external. When you work consistently on your growth in small, disciplined doses, you begin to understand that success is not an event waiting in the future. It is a process happening quietly in the present. Each hour invested sharpens your thinking. Each effort strengthens your discipline. Each lesson deepens your judgment. These changes may not impress others immediately, but they transform how you experience your own life. One of the greatest benefits of part-time ambition is that it dissolves regret before it can take root. Regret is born when potential goes unused and time is wasted without intention. But when you know that you are investing regularly in yourself, even imperfectly, regret loses its power. You may not yet have everything you want, but you know you are on the way. That knowledge brings peace. This approach also changes how you face uncertainty. The future is unpredictable, and that reality makes many people anxious. But part-time ambition gives you a sense of control in an uncontrollable world. You may not know what opportunities or challenges are coming, but you know you are becoming more capable. You are building skills, perspective, and resilience. That preparation reduces fear, because readiness is calming. As you continue this practice, your relationship with effort matures. You stop expecting effort to feel exciting. You stop demanding that progress be entertaining. You accept effort as a normal part of a meaningful life. This acceptance frees you from emotional resistance. Work becomes something you choose, not something you endure. Part-time ambition also reinforces humility. You learn that growth is not about proving superiority, it is about pursuing improvement. You become less interested in winning arguments and more interested in learning lessons. You listen more carefully. You observe more thoughtfully. Humility keeps you teachable, and being teachable keeps you growing. Another powerful outcome is how it stabilizes your identity. When your sense of worth is tied only to outcomes, you feel fragile. A setback shakes you. A delay discourages you. But when your identity is tied to your commitment, to the fact that you show up consistently, your confidence becomes steady. You are proud not just of what you've achieved, but of how you live. Over time, this steadiness changes how others respond to you. People trust those who are consistent. They respect those who are prepared. They feel safe with those who are calm under pressure. You may not notice it immediately, but your reliability begins to open doors. Opportunities are often offered quietly to those who demonstrate quiet competence. Part-time ambition also sharpens gratitude. When you are actively building something, you appreciate the resources you already have. You value your time, your health, your access to knowledge, your ability to learn. Gratitude replaces frustration because you are using what you have instead of resenting what you lack. This mindset makes progress lighter and more enjoyable. Perhaps the most profound effect is that you stop postponing your life. Many people tell themselves they will start living fully once they achieve a certain result. Part-time ambition eliminates this delay. Growth becomes part of daily life, not a reward for future success. You experience purpose now, not later. Eventually, you realize that part-time ambition is not a temporary strategy. It is a philosophy. It is a way of respecting your potential without overwhelming yourself. It is a way of honoring your responsibilities without surrendering your dreams. It is a way of becoming better steadily instead of desperately. In the end, the real magic is not that part-time ambition changes your circumstances, though it often does. The real magic is that it changes you. It turns ordinary days into meaningful progress. It turns uncertainty into confidence. It turns spare hours into a powerful advantage. And when you look back after years of quiet, consistent effort, you won't see wasted time. You'll see a life that was intentionally shaped, patiently built, and deeply respected, one part-time decision at a time. You don't need to change your whole life this month. You just need to change how you use your extra hours. Because the future doesn't belong to those who wait for perfect conditions. It belongs to those who use what they have, where they are, one disciplined hour at a time. That's the magic of part-time ambition.